When did you come to Harlow and why did you come to Harlow?
I came to Harlow in 1968 and I was beginning to start my nursing career. And I did an assessment with a friend of mine and I went all the way to Oldham to do the nursing, start my nursing career. But I went to support a friend and she did her assessment and they actually asked me whether I would like to try it as well, because I was just going to university to do accountancy. But what happened was that I couldn't afford to pay for my uni, and I had to do several jobs to do the uni, but with nursing they were paying you to do nursing, and I agreed with my friends, said, well, you know, I don't mind doing this, and I upset all my family because I wasn't going to university but going to do nursing, and that's what happened. That's how I came. And my aunt lived in Downs, and my sister lived in Bishop Stortford, and my aunt had more bedrooms, so I came to live with my aunt for a short period of time till I start my nursing career. So I consequently, when I had time off, I came back to my aunt, and 1968, that's how I came to live in Harlow.
So take us back to 1968. Can you remember those first few weeks, months of living in Harlow? What was it like for you?
I do. It was a town that was just developing, and I can still remember from Downs, walking down where the Harlow College University used to be. There was a path going to the town centre, and we used to walk down there to Little Woods. The Little Woods used to be next to where Savers used to be, and that was one of the, not Little Woods, Woolworths, and that was one of the big stores in Harlow at the time, and it was next to Savers, where the Savers used to be, and there was a ground floor as well. And there's a basement, there were loads of stuff there, and there was all these chocolates and sweets on the counters laid out, and we used to go and pick up a walnut whip, and we used to walk around the town eating this walnut whip, looking at all the stores and trying clothes on and buying food and various things. And there was a market. The market was used opposite the post office, the back of the post office, the car park. That's where the market used to be. And we used to go and buy our sort of fruit and veg from the market. And often we get, you know, some bits from the market, not lots of bits. And then Sainsbury's used to be opposite side of Savers, next to Marks and Spencer's. And we used to go to Sainsbury's there. Sainsbury's used to be next to, opposite side of Savers, and we used to go there and do our shopping. And so I can remember then there was one bus stop, and there it was next to one Mecca Bingo Hall. And it used to be, in the winter months, it was freezing standing there to get a bus anywhere. And it was all these ladies with young babies in prams, and they're pushing their prams on the snow, you know, because it was bitterly cold in the town centre then. But it is, you know, I just remember all those things. And then there was a place called Birdcage. And the youngsters, when we were teenagers, we had nowhere to go. And Birdcage, there was a DJ called Pepe. On a Saturday morning, he used to do a Saturday club for youngsters where they can have a lemonade and coke in the bar. And he used to play all this Tamla Motown and all of this music there. And we used to go and dance, all the youngsters. And we used to have a coke and a lemonade. And those are the days that I can really remember. And then when we came down, there was a pub called Painted Lady. And we used to sort of we were not, you know, we can't go in pubs because we were so young. But those are the days that I can remember Harlow, and the playhouse, and underneath there was a restaurant, a cafe and a coffee shop, and occasionally we used to go there and have a sandwich. But other than that, there was absolutely not a thing in Harlow for young people.
It's interesting you're saying, this is now, you're in the late 60s, early 70s, so you're saying there wasn't an awful lot for young people to do, and as if there was a golden era of people having lots to do, but you're giving the impression that there wasn't any golden era of lots to do for people, but you know, but you had to make your own entertainment.
Entertainment, we did. We used to just, you know, do things at home. We used to have friends around, and I mean, we just lemonade and coke, and we used to have little parties, and it was sort of like little snacks, and we sit down and have little parties, and our sort of relatives allowed us to do that, and parents allowed us to do that, which is good. And it was sort of like, it was fun. Even if it wasn't there for us, and I still fondly remember those days. And
so working as a nurse, you're working as a nurse at Princess Alexandra?
I started working as a nurse at Princess Alexandra Hospital in 1976. And I started work in the mental health unit. I was there for nearly 7 years, and then I started doing my general, because I did a general training, general and mental health. So I did, came to the general side, and I did orthopedics for 30 years.
So you're almost answering my second question of why you stayed.
I stayed because I loved doing orthopedics. Orthopedics was my thing. And I loved the consultants, Mr. Paul Allen. He was a registrar when I started work there. And he did both my knees recently. And he said he saw me and he said, "What are you doing here? What's wrong? You're not old enough to have your knees done." I said, "Well, I'm not young as what I used to be."
But if I'm asking you why you stayed, it's obviously even behind you there's a lovely family photograph, etc. And you're bringing up a family. But you're somebody I've got to know you because you're not backwards and coming forwards when it comes to people's rights and things are right. Has that always been part of your makeup?
It's simply because my father, he was a doctor, and when we were little, I can remember when I was just 6 years old, I laughed at a man that was disabled, and he had his neck was twisted to one side, and I mocked him, pointing at him, giggling at him, and my father said to me, "Well, aren't you the lucky one that you have got limbs and haven't got any fault with you, and I'm ashamed of you. Go inside," he said to me. And my father was a very, very sort of treated everybody equally. And from that day onwards, I thought that we need to respect everybody with whatever their circumstances are. And I have always done that. And I have always championed that. Because quite frankly, a lot of people can't see what they're even talking about. They don't understand why these people are suffering. But you know, when people are being told every day that you're different, you're not like us, but I don't like you because your color or your religion or your disability or your sexuality or your, you know, really it's, who are we to judge these people? They have just as much rights to live in a world that, like all of us.
So that belief system, is that something that you inculcated to your sons? And is that something,
yes,
yeah,
they're very much so, and they're very respectful of everybody, and I think they admire me because I probably get the backup of people because they don't like to hear what I'm saying, and you know, they don't want to hear how it is. But unfortunately, I'm going to get people's backup for the rest of my time, that the work that I'm doing, because if people are suffering, why are they suffering? Why should somebody suffer in silence? Why should they suffer? And why shouldn't they trust everybody? And people are saying, you know what, they don't integrate. The fact they don't integrate is they're not allowed to integrate because they're not being accepted for who they are. They're not being accepted for their culture, their religion, their background. But are we going to spend the rest of our lives insulting and abusing and calling people names? You know, that is not acceptable.
But you still enjoy living here in Harlow?
I do, very much so. My family always says to me, why are you still in Harlow? Because they're all in Bishop Stortford. But I love it. I love it. I love the people. I know the people that lived in this town for years. So I still keep company with them, and I love the people in this town.
Nila, thank you very much for your time.